Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. I'm CJ LeMaster, your host for the WLBT Plus Digital News Desk, also your lead investigative reporter here for WLBT. I hope you're having a great hump day. We are halfway through the week, and we got a lot of stuff to get to, most notably election results for runoff elections that were held in a couple of counties. Actually, I'd say 3 counties last night. The biggest one, though, of course, talking about a state senator's race runoff there. Now, if you'll remember, this is for the district once represented by now Jackson Mayor John Horn. This was District 26. And we can now say that Municipal Judge Kamisha Mumford is the unofficial winner, defeating Attorney Letitia Johnson in the special election runoff with about 56% of. Sorry about that, folks. I keep accidentally doing that. Let me get video of Kamisha to be able to show you here from that event. There we go. So this is from the event last night. Mumford also got the most votes in last month's special election, but not enough for a majority, and that's why they, we had to have a runoff. Mumford is a graduate of Mississippi State University, a mother of 2, longtime attorney, former city court judge, and a business owner. As a state senator, she says she plans to tackle infrastructure issues, create jobs, strengthen the public retirement system, and improve public safety. Here's what she said after last night's victory.
Thank you all for believing that we are stronger together. And we are advocates for fully funding our public schools. And we are the guardians of our retirees and the champions of safe, thriving communities. This victory is a victory for all Senate District 26.
Now, Mumford is set to be sworn into the state Senate when the legislature convenes next month. She represents, again, District 26. That includes parts of Hinds and Madison counties. Not Harrison County. That's on the coast. Also, we had a couple of races to tell you about as well. Hinds County coroner's race. That was something that we had been following as well. If you'll remember, there was a runoff between the current coroner who's been serving since former coroner Sharon Grisham Stewart retired, Jeremiah Howard, and he was running against Stephanie Meacham. Howard won that runoff handily, and we don't have those exact results here. I was actually pulling them up, but he won that race, so he will continue to serve in that capacity because, again, he'd been serving in that role, I want to say, since last it was either earlier this year or last year, ever since Sharon Grisham Stewart stepped down. So if you look at it like this, we had, and again, we'll probably be doing stories on turnout and how especially in the Jackson area, we don't always have. Hinds County historically has not had a lot of turnout. We've not had good regular turnout when we have these elections, but of course. We that's something that we hope improves every year. Jeremiah Howard, I've got the results up now, 58% to Stephanie Meacham's 42%. In Rankin County, Justice Court race for Judge, District 3, Adam Woods, with almost 70% of the vote, handily defeated Tamara Bowie, who was running against him in that runoff. In Rankin County, for District 2 Supervisor, Phil Shoggan won by just a little over 50% to Daryl Palmer. And over in Lincoln County, circuit clerk's race there, Christy Shepard won against Jackie Jones Bates. That one just a little over 50% as well. What's interesting about those races, in the District 2 Supervisor race, just 8 votes separated Shoggan and Palmer. Over in Lincoln County, that difference was 37 votes. So very small margins sometimes. And again, goes back to turnout and that kind of thing. I got one person saying hi today, and she always faithfully tunes in. Britt saying happy Wednesday, tuning in from Kosciuszko. Okay, well, I hope everything's going well out there in Kosciuszko. It's always fun to travel through there. My family lives up in North Mississippi, and so typically I take the Trace. Don't know why I take the Trace, but I take it. It's faster because I'm from the Tupelo area, Boonville, and so typically get right by Kosciuszko on the way home. So it's definitely a good place to stop if you need something to eat or something else. Hey, Sheikah Hampton, saying hello, everyone, and a flurry of hearts. It's what she's known for, and we thank you for doing that, brightening our Wednesday with all of those emojis. Okay, after we've gotten that election stuff out of the way, of course, you remember we had breaking news coverage yesterday concerning the new developments in the Jimmy J. Lee case. You remember Lee, a former Ole Miss student, had gone missing back in 2022, believed to have been killed. They did not find his body until almost 3 years later. Sheldon Timothy Harrington was charged, indicted for killing Lee. That ended in a mistrial a year ago, with one holdout on the jury saying because the body hadn't been found, it was very difficult for them to be able to make that decision. Well, now there's been a resolution, as we told you yesterday. On Monday of this week, 2 days ago, Harrington pleaded guilty on the same week that the retrial was going to start. Jury selection had already started. That process had already begun. And so he decided to go ahead and take a plea. He pleaded to a lesser charge. He was originally indicted on capital murder, but he pleaded to second-degree murder, which means he can avoid life in prison. And he got for that and tampering with evidence, he pleaded guilty to both of those. He got 50 years with 10 suspended, 40 years to serve. Our Quentin Smith had been following this case from the very beginning, and he has coverage for us here. I want to tell you, investigators describing this case as justice delayed but not defeated. With that sentence for Harrington and admitting to killing his Ole Miss classmate, that case, that family can finally get resolution. Lee was a Jackson, Mississippi native. While jurors, again, were being selected to hear the retrial, Harrington took a deal. 3 on Your Side's Quentin Smith has information tonight, today, I should say, from the family. He talked with them. There were a lot of people that Quentin talked to when he was in Oxford yesterday. He's been following this case. He is going to tell you now how this brings closure and relief to Jimmy J. Lee's family.
Funny, loving, caring, with a heart of gold. That's how family members are remembering Jimmy J. Lee. For more than 3 years, they fought for justice on his behalf. Well, that day has finally come. And now that it's here, they're still sad because that justice doesn't bring back J. Lee.
I knew from the beginning that you did this.
As he takes the stand, a heartbroken Jimmy Lee Sr. speaks directly to Sheldon Timothy Harrington Jr., the man who killed his son.
I had to witness my son's skeletal remains. I touched his skull. No father should have to go through that.
letting him know these past 3 years have been nothing but a nightmare.
Jay trusted you, but his biggest mistake was trusting in your humanity.
What's done in the darkness will always come to light. Tim, all of this happened to cover something up and everyone found out anyways.
Gwen Ago is a special prosecutor on the case. In court, she argued Harrington and Lee were in a romantic relationship and that Harrington kidnapped and killed Lee because he did not want their secret to get out. On Tuesday, Harrington owned up to the killing. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was given 30 years behind bars. And he also pleaded guilty to tampering with evidence and was given 10 years behind bars. The sentences must run consecutively, meaning they must be served one after another.
My advice to him has been to pray. My advice to him is to be to not be idle, because as the judge said, he still can have a life after this.
Abram Sellers is representing Harrington. He says this guilty plea also brings closure to his client. This is exclusive video of Harrington leaving the courtroom after his sentence. Although he did not speak inside the courtroom, Sellers says Harrington is remorseful and his guilty plea is his way of taking accountability for his actions.
In his private moments when he's with himself or with us, I've seen that remorse. And so, yes, I would say he's absolutely remorseful. And part of that is reflected in the fact that he has now pled guilty. I mean, it takes a level of remorse and responsibility, even committing that act of saying, I've done this.
Prosecutors say Harrington acted alone when he killed Lee. Once he's released from prison, Harrington will then have to spend those next 10 years on probation. Reporting from Lafayette County, I'm Quentin Smith.
And of course, we're going to continue to follow, some of the other developments that came out. I believe our Quentin Smith actually following up today on, as you heard yesterday, during, if you watch some of our live streaming coverage of that press conference, Jimmy Lee Sr., Jimmy J. Lee's father, mentioning that he does not blame Apple for his son's death, but blames Apple for the 2.5 years it took to find Jimmy J. Lee's body. He is supporting a bill that would actually allow or give the ability of the state to be able to get information, login information from these companies like Apple, even social media companies, when someone under the age of 21 goes missing, in hopes that they will be able to locate that person more effectively, and those tools will be able to be given to to investigators in order to find them and solve that case. Britt saying, this is so sad. Happy the family got justice. Yeah, it was a long time coming for them. But the judge said Mississippi got it right this time, and was able to help the prosecutors. This was one of the hardest. I think the DA there, Ben Creekmore, said this was the hardest case he'd ever tried in his history, because again of the lack of evidence they had at the beginning, and then as they began getting more over time. Sheikah Hampton saying, my condolences go out to the family, and we appreciate that. We have something else to tell you about too. A former Capitol police officer pleading guilty to assaulting a handcuffed man during a traffic stop back in 2022. I apologize, excuse me. Jeffrey Walker admitted he slammed a handcuffed man's head into the hood of a car and kicked him repeatedly. The man, identified in court records as ES, reportedly led Walker and 3 Jackson police officers on a chase after refusing to pull over. Walker, who was previously charged with deprivation of civil rights, will be sentenced April 8th, and he remains free until then. Now, State Auditor Shad White says his office needs your help to prove cases. That's something that they need often. And he's asking lawmakers to help sweeten the deal and make it a little more appealing for those of you who, may have tips. He's recommending what's being called a Whistleblower Reward Act. It's similar to one on the federal level. The idea is simple. If you give tips that lead to an arrest, 15% of what's recovered would go to you.
find good documents. It looks like there is criminal activity, but we really need a witness. We really need somebody to tell us what's going on, and then nobody steps forward. Nobody will talk. So this idea is designed to give a carrot to people to say, hey, if you come forward, if you show some courage, you come forward, you give us information, you could receive up to 15% of whatever we recover at the end of the day. Again,
He's also asking lawmakers to require an annual review of state-owned vehicles and find savings within state government. Well, if you work for the city of Jackson, a new ordinance now bans employees from having any relationships or dealings with drug dealers. The measure that was introduced by Ward 3 Councilman Kenneth Stokes passed with 6 voting in favor, 1 abstaining. Stokes says drug dealers hold too much control in some Jackson neighborhoods and believes this step, paired with state and federal support, could help reduce the power of what he calls dope boys. Ward 2 Councilwoman Tina Clay abstained, saying the message harms the city's image.
I don't think dope boys run the city of Jackson. I think the citizens of Jackson run the city of Jackson. I think a small population may be bad, but overall, I think Jackson has a very positive image and population.
Council President Brian Grizel, also representing Ward 4, questioned how drug dealer and relationship are defined and how that ordinance would be enforced. That is all we have time for today, and we appreciate everybody joining us on the WLBT Plus Digital News Desk update. If you want more updates in terms of some of the other stories that we're following, WLBT.com is right there for you. Also at 2:30, our First Alert weather team will be in here to kind of give you an idea of what to expect the rest of this week, as we still are experiencing some pretty cold temperatures. You'll find out when our next chances for rain will be, so you want to make sure to tune in for that. Also, we want to let you know our early evening newscasts start on air and online starting at 4 p.m. for the latest news there. For everybody here, I'm CJ LeMaster, your lead investigative reporter and your host for the WLBT Plus Digital News Desk. Before we let you go, we want to give you a word from our sponsor, Jackson Water. Thanks for watching.
Time for a neighborly tip from Jackson Water. Is it okay to pour fats, oils, and greases down the drain if I run hot water?
No!
What if I run the garbage disposal?
No!
How about if I use dish soap at the same time?
No!
Instead, hang on to a few containers to store and toss old cooking fat and grease once you're done. Jackson Water. Water for all the time.